Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. So today we're diving into something really fascinating, the actual hidden language of architectural beauty. Have you ever walked into a space and just immediately felt calm? Or maybe you felt a sudden rush of awe? We usually just think of architecture as, well, engineering, right? Bricks, glass, steel, wood. But there's actually a whole secret language at play here. And today, we're going to decode the whole shebang, moving right from raw basic geometry all the way up to those really profound emotional impacts. Which brings us to a really big question. What actually makes a building not just a structure, but a literal masterpiece? I want you to think about that for a second. Think about the last physical space that truly made you stop in your tracks. What was it? Was it the sheer height, the sweeping curves, or maybe just the way the light hit the floor? Before we get into the nuts and bolts, we really have to acknowledge that a masterpiece isn't just trying to keep the rain out. It's built to make us feel something deeply. So, to figure out how architects actually pull this off, here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick global architectural tour, break down the geometry of buildings, dive into the philosophy of windows, explore the beauty of traditional Korean architecture, and wrap up with the exact words we use to express architectural awe. All right, let's jump right into part one. A global architectural tour. Now, if we map out some of the world's most iconic masterpieces, think the Eiffel Tower shooting up into the sky in France, the pristine white domes of the Taj Mahal in India, the Sydney Opera House looking like giant sails, and Korea's Cheongdeokgung Palace just blending perfectly with nature. These structures give us an amazing canvas to work with. I mean, they look absolutely nothing alike, but they all use this incredibly universal language of design to talk to us. Moving right along to step two, the geometry of buildings. Think about the vivid contrast between different design styles. Take the Seoul National University Art Museum, for instance. It is this stunning, modern, sharp, rectangular prism. It feels sleek, it feels highly organized. But then, contrast that exact vibe with traditional Eastern wooden architecture. You're not looking at hard boxes, you're seeing these elegant, sweeping, curved lines on the roof. Just by comparing those straight-lined modern shapes with elegant traditional curves, you can instantly feel how basic geometry sets the entire tone of a space. And that all boils down to a few essential forms: the straight line, the curved line, the square, the semicircle, and the cube. These are the absolute foundational building blocks. See, an architect doesn't just use a cube because it's an easy shape to build. They use it because it practically shouts stability and grandeur. They use semicircles to soften up a room, or curved lines to gracefully pull your eye across a landscape. These aren't just dry math terms, guys. They are literally the syllables architects use to tell a story with space. Which leads us perfectly into our third stop, the philosophy of windows. I want you to consider this quote. A window is not just a hole in a wall. Designing a window is like hanging a curated picture frame that divides space. Isn't that just a brilliant way to put it? We usually just think, oh, it's a window. It lets in light, a breeze, some street noise. But architecturally speaking, placing a window is a highly deliberate act. It actively frames how we see the outside world, essentially creating a living, breathing piece of art right there on the wall. And the sheer variety of what a window can be is wild. You might have a classic arched window, bringing a sense of total calm by looking out onto a serene green field. Or maybe intricate stained glass panels, or even modern repeating circular and triangular cutouts on a facade. The shape and placements of a window completely dictate the vibe inside the room for the people living in it, while simultaneously giving the entire outside of the building its unique personality. A really brilliant real-world example of this is back at the Seoul National University Art Museum. It has a super tricky dual purpose. By day, art students need tons of brilliant natural light to paint, which means you need massive windows. But it's also a gallery. If the walls are literally all glass, where on earth do you hang the art? Their genius solution? The windows are enormous to let the light flood in, but the walls are intentionally blocked solid exactly at eye level. Boom! You get all the natural light you want, plus the blank wall space you absolutely need for curated artwork. Just a masterful use of space. Okay, let's switch gears for part four. Traditional Korean architectural beauty. Take the Cheongdeokgung Palace. Now, a lot of the world's palaces are built to completely overwhelm you, right? To show sheer size and dominance. But Cheongdeokgung operates on a totally different wavelength. Rather than intimidation, it's all about elegant simplicity. It feels cozy. It feels inviting. It doesn't want to dominate the landscape. It just nestles right into it, going for this quiet, perfect harmony with nature. And you can really see exactly how they achieve that harmony in the details. Look at the gentle curve of the roof. It's actually designed to mimic the graceful, sweeping lines of a traditional hanbok sleeve. It's incredibly fluid. Then you have the traditional paper window frames. You won't find heavy paint or over-the-top decorations there. Instead, they rely purely on the delicate, unadorned craftsmanship of the wood, intersecting in this perfect geometric harmony to let in beautifully soft, diffused light. Actually, one of my absolute favorite details here is the foundation stone supporting the wooden pillars. The stone itself is this really sturdy, sharp cube, a rectangular prism. Obviously, it gives incredible structural strength, but aesthetically, it's a breathtaking balancing act. You've got this heavy cubic stone anchoring the bottom, holding a completely straight, unbending wooden pillar, which then effortlessly supports that soft, flowing, curved roof on top. It is a total masterclass in blending different geometric forms together. All right, bringing it all together in Section 5, Words that Express Awe. It's amazing how clearly these concrete shapes translate directly into human emotions. When an architect leans heavily on pure straight lines, the vibe we get is elegant and neat. When they build massive cubic structures, we feel a sense of real grandeur. Giant round shapes, they can make us feel delightfully overwhelmed, kind of like standing in the middle of an ancient coliseum. And structures built on flawless symmetry, they evoke something almost mystical, pulling us right into a sense of perfect balance. So let's test this vocabulary out on two incredibly famous structures. Think of the Taj Mahal. It is the ultimate expression of awe through perfect, flawless symmetry. It feels intensely grand and balanced, but then look at the Sydney Opera House. It completely ditches rigid symmetry and relies entirely on those magnificent, outstanding aesthetic curves. It feels entirely different, right? Thrilling, highly original, and kind of mysterious with how it catches the light over the water. Two totally different approaches to geometry, but both are absolute, undisputed masterpieces. Which brings us to a question I want to leave you with today. If you could design a space that truly represents you, what shape would it take? Would you be a collection of elegant straight lines? Would you have sweeping, dramatic curves? Perfect symmetry? Or maybe an intricate mix of totally unique frames? The next time you're walking down the street, try to look past the bricks and the glass. Look for the shapes. Look at the windows. Listen to what the architecture is actually saying to you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.